everybody, the Chattering Magpie is here once again on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, ready and excited to read some more of the Count of Monte Cristo along with the gang. And speaking of the gang, hey Miss Cheap, how are you doing? Happy to see you.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
We're on time.
We are on
That can't be.
time. Yes, I know. It's a rare occurrence, right? But we're just all so excited to get started that I went ahead. I'm like, we still have a minute, and we want to hear stories, of which we have promised. We've been promised one very dramatic story by Teal. And without further ado, Teal, tell us what's going on.
So computers, they acquire dust over time. I was cleaning all that out.
Mm-hmm.
I have a liquid cooler, so I took out the radiative heater part that isn't connected to the CPU, and I was cleaning that, and I put it back in. But when I turned my computer back on, it seems all that like unseated the CPU sitting heatsink part, and my CPU roasted itself, more or less.
Oh shoot! Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh. You know what? I don't know if any one of us could have prevented that, or if... Did you notice until, like... How did you know that that's what happened, or what?
I noticed the burning smell,
Mm-hmm.
the red light on my motherboard, the fact that Windows wasn't running too good.
Oh well, Windows
There were
never
many
really
signs.
runs too good, so... I'm sorry. I hope that you can get a machine going. Are you on your phone right now, or on some other external device besides that? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on a variety of phones and.
I'm sorry. Rest in peace, computer.
Thank you.
Oh.
It appreciates it.
Yeah. Let us hold a funeral for your computer one of these days. What's up? Hi, yay?
I choose to believe that Teal is connecting by the way of like smart crockpot.
Do you have a smart crockpot too?
Do I have a what?
Smart crockpot.
No, mine is rather dumb.
Internet-enabled toaster, then.
Yeah, we can't all be that fancy. Yay, excuse us for not being engineers.
I don't have any of these. I'm making fun of these.
I know. I wonder at okay, so there's like a apartment complex that I saw like some advertising on the internet, right? As like, buy your newest smart home for starting $1.5 million and whatever. And it's just, a townhouse, nothing special, but it's smart. It's a smart house. No, it does not do your homework, but it's connected to Wi-Fi and it does all these things. And I'm like, yeah, you just, something goes wrong with the power grid and there goes your smart house. Like, you can do nothing, you can't get out, you can't get in, your garage won't open. So yeah, I'm with Teal. Everything as dumb as possible. Analog, yeah.
I mean, I'll have a couple smart devices, but if everything runs on your smart devices, that's I don't trust it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That just sounds like an early 2000s Disney horror movie. Like smart house thing is like.
When do you think we grew up?
Actually, for me,
your phone goes down and everything breaks.
For me, it's not Disney. It's more Ray Bradbury. There will come soft rains. That has stuck with my head forever. Like it made an indelible mark in my head. So every time somebody talks about smart homes, I think about that sad, pathetic house that is left alone, running for its masters, even after the nuclear holocaust, and how it just destroys itself. It's very chilling. I highly encourage you guys to read it. It's good. It's chilling. It's yeah.
So on a semi-related note, so before you got here, we were talking about her computer, and I mentioned going to this company called Fry's Electronics, and I'm finding out just now that the entire chain is a victim of the pandemic.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, does yours still exist?
Well, I don't think Fry's ever got this far east, so I don't know if it ever did.
I know there's Fry's Marketplace. The other time I went to go visit a friend in Arizona, and they have a Fry's Market, like a supermarket. It's called Fry's. They have the same font type. I'm like, Fry's is a grocery store? Yes, yes it is.
Oh, just wait till you find out that there's a Lowe's grocery store.
Yeah. What? You're pulling my leg.
I was visiting my folks and I saw that. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Lowe's is a home improvement store. What's going on here? Why is there a grocery store that has the same exact spelling saying Lowe's Groceries?
Man,
maybe it's the last name. Maybe it's the last name of a family of entrepreneurs or something.
Yeah, but you would think they would use like creativity to come up with something more.
It's the next coming of the Walmart clan.
I mean, think about like the Walmart clan. They had what was that? Price Club before it became Sam's Club.
Sam's Club?
Yeah, so
I didn't know it was Price Club before. Okay.
Yeah. It was Price Club. At least if I remember.
But they also have Walmart. They also have, I think, Walgreens. I
really?
I don't know if that was also part of the. I could be wrong.
Well, as you guys know, we're very well versed in capitalism, and a good thing too, because we're talking about the Count of Monte Cristo, who was surely thinking about using his money for good and worthy causes. And so we're gonna just delve right into it. But before we do, Yay, do you want to do us a solid and tell us what was covered in the latest read-along, if you would?
4. Last time, on the Count of Monte Cristo, the mysterious Englishman approached the House of Morrel Son to collect the debts owed to Thomas and French. Upon arrival, he met with the limited staff of the much diminished trading company and sought an audience with Pierre Morrel. Monsieur Morrel admitted that the company's finances were at a breaking point, and that should the Pharaon, the last ship of the company, fail to return, then he would be forced to default upon the debt. Moments later, terrible news arrived that the Pharaon was lost, and the only silver lining was that her crew survived to tell the tale. With desperation, Monsieur Morrel paid what little money he had left to the sailors and accepted his fate, only for the Englishman to offer both a surprising lifeline in the form of a 3-month delay in collection and an ominous portent that they should soon receive a letter from Sinbad the Sailor, and to follow its instructions closely. Why is this Englishman so generous with Monsieur Morrel, and who is Sinbad? Find out today on The Count of Monte Cristo.
Bravo! Thank you for that. Nothing to add. Perfect. Thank you for catching us up. It's been like almost a week, so we did need a refresher. Before we head into reading though, just want to say a very quick hello to those that are joining us on YouTube. Crusher is here, says happy hump day everyone. Hello from the 4-way intersection. Drive safely, Crusher. And join us once you get home if you're able to.
Fuck driving safety, get here fast. Join us in the chat.
Don't listen to Patrick. You do say you prefer a smart AC after having a dumb AC for the past 5 years in your tiny home. Well, since I don't know the difference between a smart AC and a dumb AC, having no AC at my house, I will defer to your greater wisdom, and once I have my own tiny home, I will use it. I'll get a smart one. What?
I thought California was like AC Central, where everybody and their mom has AC, and it's so bad that the power grid goes out because everybody's trying to stay cool.
Yeah, that's a no. At least no. Probably in other areas, but not where I'm at. Especially not the coastal cities. LA also doesn't really have. People use fans, I guess, but people, at least as far as I know, a lot of the older houses, they don't have like central units, and AC and electricity is expensive, and I don't know. I'm just like not a rich person, so that's just me. Me. You probably if you ask like all the rich folk who live in the Beverly Hills, they'll be like, you fool, we have AC in even our dog's house, so maybe, I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Our AC does our taxes.
Yeah. Also, Fuji Petals was actually the very first one in the chat, but I left you till the end because you were going to provide the blessing. So, Fuji, please.
Pray for a blessing and appreciation of this serendipitous meeting, ordained by the fruitful days of Shitzeria, the goddess of wind, and the subordinates who serve by her side.
Yes, you may.
You know, I think this is one of my favorite parts of having Fuji.
She's doing her blessing. Hold on, Patrick. Do finish your blessing.
Oh, my bad. I thought she did it.
She's not done. I just said you may. She's going to now.
Shitzeria, goddess of wind, Dulcetsun, goddess of endurance, and Grammatura, goddess of language, please give us the power to run this read-along.
Thank you. All right, Patrick, go on.
I think this is one of my favorite parts of having Fuji actually with us in the voice, because she would send these requests out in the chat and patiently be waiting for like 15, 20, 30 minutes, and finally someone would say, "Oh yeah, go ahead."
Yeah, we needed Fuji on board, so thanks for joining us, Fuji.
Yes.
All right, you guys. While you guys go on and debate the differences between a dumb AC, a smart AC, etc., let's get started with the read. Today we have the following folks reading: Monsieur Pierre Morrel is going to be read by Fuji. Cockles, the cashier, is going to be read by Yay82. Julie Morrel is going to be read by Teal. Emmanuel is going to be read by Patrick. Maximilian Morrel is going to be read by Yay82. Madame Morrel is going to be read by Fuji. Oh, why did I need my water? Oh, sorry. Miscellaneous is also going to be read by Teal. And Sinbad is going to be read by Patrick. And of course, our highlighter MVP is the one and only Teal of the Burnt Out Computer, who's joining us. Thank you for joining us in spite of your tragic loss, Teal. We appreciate you, and we send you all the hugs imaginable. Here you go. I'm sending you hugs. I hope you can see them on YouTube.
Sorry for your loss, Teal.
Also, Magpie is the narrator.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm going to be narrating. Except that I need to get my water. I think I left it in my... Yeah, let me just get it. Give me a few seconds. I'll get it.
Oh my god, Magpie. We're in the middle of a stream. And she ignores me and walks away.
Because she's learning.
Did Patrick say the same thing about, oh my gosh, Paula, or whatever?
Yeah.
He always does that.
I mean, I didn't use your name, but okay.
Yeah, I could hear it as I took off the thing. Yep. All right. Let's get started, everybody. Chapter 30. The 5th of September. The extension provided by the agent of Thompson and French, at the moment when Morrel expected it least, was to the poor ship owner so decidedly a stroke of good fortune that he almost dared to believe that fate was at length grown weary of wasting her spite upon him. The same day he told his wife, Emmanuel, and his daughter all that had occurred, and the ray of hope, if not tranquillity, returned to the family. Unfortunately, however, Morel had not only engagements with the House of Thomson and French, who had shown themselves so considerate toward him, and, as he had said, in business he had correspondents and not friends. When he thought the matter over, he could by no means account for this generous conduct on the part of Thomson and French toward him, and could only attribute it to some such selfish argument as this.
We'd better help a man who owes us nearly 300,000 francs, and have those 300,000 francs at the end of 3 months than hasten his ruin, and get only 6 or 8% of our money back again.
Unfortunately, whether through envy or stupidity, all of Morel's correspondents did not take this view, and some even came to a contrary decision. The bills signed by Morel were presented at his office with scrupulous exactitude, and thanks to the delay granted by the Englishman, were paid by Cockles with equal punctuality. Cockles thus remained in his customary tranquillity. It was Morel alone who remembered with alarm that if he had to repay on the 15th the 50,000 francs of Monsieur de Vauville, and on the 30th the 32,500 francs of bills, for which, as well as the debt due to the inspector of prisons, he had time granted, he must be a ruined man. The opinion of all the commercial men was that under the reverses which had successively weighted down Morel, it was impossible for him to remain solvent. Great, therefore, was the astonishment when, at the end of the month, he cancelled all his obligations with his usual punctuality. Still, confidence was not restored to all minds, and the general opinion was that the complete ruin of the unfortunate shipowner had been postponed only until the end of the month. The month passed, and Morel made extraordinary efforts to get in all his resources. Formerly his paper, at any date, was taken with confidence, and was even in request. Morel now tried to negotiate bills at 90 days only, and none of the banks would give him credit. Fortunately, Morel had some funds coming in on which he could rely, and as they reached him, he found himself in a condition to meet his engagements when the end of July came. The agent of Thomson and French had not been again seen at Marseille. The day after, or 2 days after his visit to Morel, he had disappeared, and as in that city he had no intercourse but with the mayor, the inspector of prisons, and Monsieur Morel, his departure left no trace except in the memories of these 3 persons. As to the sailors of the Pharaon, they must have found snug berths elsewhere, for they also had disappeared. Captain Gaumard, recovered from his illness, had returned from Palma. He delayed presenting himself at Morel's, but the owner, hearing of his arrival, went to see him. The worthy shipowner knew, from Penelon's recital, of the captain's brave conduct during the storm, and tried to console him. He brought him also the amount of his wages which Captain Gaumard had not dared to apply for. As he descended the staircase, Morel met Penelon, who was going up. Penelon, it would seem, made good use of his money, for he was newly clad. When he saw his employer, the worthy tar seemed much embarrassed, drew on one side of the corner of the landing-place, passed his quid from one cheek to another, stared stupidly with his great eyes, and only acknowledged the squeeze of the hand which Morel, as usual, gave him, by a slight pressure in return. Morel attributed Penelon's embarrassment to the elegance of his attire. It was evident the good fellow had not gone to such an expense on his own account. He was, no doubt, engaged on board some other vessel, and thus his bashfulness arose from the fact of his not having, if we may so express ourselves, worn mourning for the Pharaon longer. Perhaps he had come to tell the Captain Gourmand of his good luck, and to offer him employment from his new master.
Worthy fellows, may your new master love you as I loved you, and be more fortunate than I have been.
August rolled by in unceasing efforts on the part of Morel to renew his credit or revive the old. On the 20th of August, it was known at Marseille that he had left town in the mail coach, and then it was said that the bills would go to protest at the end of the month, and that Morel had gone away and left his chief clerk, Emmanuel, and his cashier, Cockles, to meet the creditors. But contrary to all expectation, when the 31st of August came, the house opened as usual, and Cockles appeared behind the grating of the counter, examined all bills presented with the usual scrutiny, and from first to last paid all with the usual precision. There came in, moreover, 2 drafts which Monsieur Morel had anticipated, and which Cockles paid as punctually as the bills which the shipowner had accepted. All this was incomprehensible, and then, with the tenacity peculiar to prophets of bad news, the failure was put off until the end of September. On the 1st, Morel returned. He was awaited by his family with extreme anxiety, for from this journey to Paris they had hoped great things. Morel had thought of Danglars, who was now immensely rich and had lain under great obligations to Morel in former days, since to him it was owing that Danglars entered the service of the Spanish banker, with whom he had laid the foundations of his vast wealth. It was said, at this moment, that Danglars was worth from 6 to 8 millions of francs, and had unlimited credit. Danglars, then, without taking a crown from his pocket, could save Morel. He had but to pass his word for a loan, and Morel was saved. Morel had long thought of Danglars, but had kept away from some instinctive motive, and had delayed as long as possible, availing himself of this last resource. And Morel was right, for he returned home, crushed by the humiliation of a refusal. Yet, on his arrival, Morel did not utter a complaint or say one harsh word. He embraced his weeping wife and daughter, pressed Emmanuel's hand with friendly warmth, and then going to his private room on the 2nd floor, had sent for Cockles. Said the 2 women to Emmanuel.
You are indeed ruined.
It was agreed in a brief council held among them that Julie should write to her brother, who was in garrison at Nimes, to come to them as speedily as possible. The poor women felt instinctively that they required all their strength to support the blow that impended. Besides, Maximilien Morel, though hardly 22, had great influence over his father. He was a strong-minded, upright young man. At the time when he decided on his profession, his father had no desire to choose for him, but had consulted young Maximilian's taste. He had at once declared for a military life, and had in consequence studied hard, passed brilliantly through the Polytechnic School, and left it as sub-lieutenant of the 53rd of the line. For a year he had held his rank, and expected promotion on the first vacancy. In his regiment, Maximilien Morel was noted for his rigid observance, not only of the obligations imposed on a soldier, but also the duties of a man, and he thus gained the name of the Stoic. We need hardly say that many of those who gave him this epithet repeated it because they had heard of it, and did not even know what it meant. This was the young man whom his mother and sister called to their aid to sustain them under the serious trial which they would soon have to endure. They had not mistaken the gravity of this event, for the moment after Morel had entered his private office with Cockles, Julie saw the latter leaving it pale, trembling, and his features betraying the utmost consternation. She would have questioned him as he passed by her, but the worthy creature hastened down the staircase with unusual precipitation, and only raised his hands to heaven and exclaimed,
"Oh, mademoiselle, what a dreadful misfortune! Who could have believed it?"
A moment afterwards, Julie saw him go upstairs, carrying 2 or 3 heavy ledgers, a portfolio, and a bag of money. Morel examined the ledgers, opened the portfolio, and counted the money. All his funds amounted to 6,000 or 8,000 francs, his bills receivable up to the fifth to 4,000 or 5,000, which, making the best of everything, gave him 14,000 francs to meet his debt, amounting to 287,500 francs. He had not even the means for making a possible settlement on account. However, when Morrel went down to his dinner, he appeared very calm. His calmness was more alarming to the two women than the deepest dejection would have been. After dinner, Morrel usually went out and used to take his coffee at the club or the Fossains and read the Semaphore. This day he did not leave the house, but returned to his office. As to Cockles, he seemed completely bewildered. For a part of the day he went into the courtyard, seated himself on a stone with his head bare and exposed to the blazing sun. Emmanuel tried to comfort the women, but his eloquence faltered. The young man was too well acquainted with the business of the house not to feel that a great catastrophe hung over the Morrel family. Night came. The two women had watched, hoping that when he left his room, Morrel would come to them. But they heard him pass before their door, and trying to conceal the noise of his footsteps. They listened. He went into his sleeping room and fastened the door inside. Madame Morrel sent her daughter to bed, and half an hour after Julie had retired, she rose. Hold on a second. Sorry. She rose, took off her shoes, and went stealthily along the passage to see through the keyhole what her husband was doing. In the passage she saw a retreating shadow. It was Julie, who, uneasy herself, had anticipated her mother. The young lady went towards Madame Morrel.
He is writing.
They had understood each other without speaking. Madame Morrel looked again through the keyhole. Morrel was writing, but Madame Morrel remarked that her daughter had not observed, that her husband was writing on stamped paper. The terrible idea that he was writing his will flashed across her. She shuddered, and yet had not the strength to utter a word. Next day, Monsieur Morrel seemed as calm as ever, and he went to his office as usual, came to his breakfast punctually, and then, after dinner, he placed his daughter beside him, took her head in his arms, and held her for a long time against his bosom. In the evening, Julie told her mother that although he was so apparently calm, she had noticed that her father's heart beat violently. The next 2 days passed in much the same way. On the evening of the 4th of September, Monsieur Morrel asked his daughter for the key of his study. Julie trembled at this request, which seemed to her a bad omen. Why did her father ask for this key, which she always kept, and which was only taken from her in childhood as punishment? The young girl looked at Morrel.
What have I done wrong, father, that you should take this key from me?
Nothing, my dear. Nothing. Only I want it.
Replied the unhappy man, the tears starting to his eyes at this simple question. Julie made a pretense to feel for the key.
I must have left it in my room.
And she went out. But instead of going to her apartment, she hastened to consult Emmanuel.
Do not give this key to your father. And tomorrow morning, if possible, do not quit him for a moment.
She questioned Emmanuel, but he knew nothing or would not say what he knew. During the night, between the 4th and the 5th of September, Madame Morrel remained listening for every sound, and until 3 o'clock in the morning she heard her husband pacing the room in great agitation. It was 3 o'clock when he threw himself on the bed. The mother and daughter passed the night together. They had expected Maximilian since the previous evening, At 8 o'clock in the morning, Morel entered their chamber. He was calm, but the agitation of the night was legible in his pale and careworn visage. They did not dare ask him how he had slept. Morel was kinder to his wife, more affectionate to his daughter than he had ever been. He could not cease gazing and kissing the sweet girl. Julie, mindful of Emmanuel's request, was following her father when he quitted the room, but he said to her quickly,
"Remain with your mother, dearest. I wish you to do so."
This was the first time Morel had ever so spoken, but he said it in a tone of paternal kindness, and Julie did not dare to disobey. She remained at the same spot, standing mute and motionless. An instant afterwards the door opened. She felt 2 arms encircle her, and a mouth pressed her forehead. She looked up and uttered an exclamation of joy.
Maximilian, my dearest brother.
At these words, Madame Morel rose, and she threw herself into her son's arms.
Mother,
Said the young man, looking alternately at Madame Morel and her daughter.
what has occurred? What has happened? Your letter has frightened me, and I have come hither with all speed.
"Julie,
Said Madame Morel, making a sign to the young man.
go and tell your father that Maximilian has arrived."
The young lady rushed out of the apartment, but on the first step of the staircase, she found the man holding a letter in his hand.
Are you not Mademoiselle Julie Morel?
Inquired the man with a strong Italian accent.
Yes, sir. What is your pleasure? I do not know you. Read this letter,
He said, handing it to her. Julie hesitated.
It concerns the best interests of your father.
The young girl hastily took the letter from him. She opened it quickly and read.
Go this moment to the Allée des Milan. Enter the house number 15. Ask the porter for the key of the room on the 5th floor. Enter the apartment. Take from the corner of the mantelpiece a purse netted in red silk and give it to your father. It's important that he should receive it before 11 o'clock. You promise to obey me implicitly. Remember your oath. Sinbad the Sailor.
The young girl uttered a joyful cry, raised her eyes, looked round to question the messenger, but he had disappeared. She cast her eyes again over the note to peruse it a second time, and saw that there was a postscript. She read,
It is important that you should fulfill this mission in person and alone. If you go accompanied by any other person, or should anyone else go in your place, the porter will reply that he does not know anything about it.
The postscript decreased greatly the young girl's happiness. Was there nothing to fear? Was there not some snare laid for her? Her innocence had kept her in ignorance of the dangers that might assail a young girl of her age, but there is no need to know danger in order to fear it. Indeed, it may be observed that it is usually unknown perils that inspire the greatest terror. Julie hesitated and resolved to take counsel. Yet, through a singular impulse, it was neither to her mother nor her brother that she applied, but to Emmanuel. She hastened down and told him what had occurred on the day that the agent of Thomson and French had come to their father's, related the scene on the staircase, repeated the promise she had made, and showed him the letter.
You must go then, mademoiselle.
Go there.
Yes, I will accompany you.
But did you not read that I must be alone?
And you shall be alone. I will wait you at the corner of Rue du Musée, and if you are so long absent as to make me uneasy, I shall hasten to rejoin you, and woe to him of whom you shall have cause to complain to me.
Then, Emmanuel, It is your opinion that I should obey this invitation.
Yes. Did not the messenger say your father's safety depended on it?
What danger threatens him then, Emmanuel?
Emmanuel hesitated for a moment, but his desire to make Julie decide immediately made him reply.
Listen, today is the 5th of September, is it not?
Yes.
Today, then, at 11 o'clock, your father has nearly 300,000 francs to pay.
Yes, we know that.
Well then, we have not 15,000 francs in the house.
What will happen then?
Why, if today before 11 o'clock your father has not found someone who will come to his aid, he will be compelled at 12 o'clock to declare himself a bankrupt.
Oh, come then, come.
Cried she, hastening away with the young man. During this time, Madame Morel had told her son everything. The young man knew quite well that, after the succession of misfortunes which had befallen his father, great changes had taken place in the style of living and housekeeping. But he did not know that matters had reached such a point. He was thunderstruck. Then, rushing hastily out of the apartment, he ran upstairs, expecting to find his father in his study. But he rapped there in vain. While he was yet at the door of the study, he heard the bedroom door open, turned, and saw his father. Instead of going directly to his study, Monsieur Morel had returned to his bedchamber, which he was only this moment quitting. Morel uttered a cry of surprise at the sight of his son, of whose arrival he was ignorant. He remained motionless on the spot, pressing with his left hand something he had concealed under his coat. Maximilian sprang down the staircase and threw his arms round his father's neck. But suddenly he recoiled and placed his right hand on Morel's breast.
Father, what are you going to do with that brace of a pistol under your coat?
Oh, this is what I feared.
Father, in heaven's name, what are these weapons for?
Maximilian, you are a man and a man of honor. Come, and I will explain to you.
And with a firm step, Morel went up to his study, while Maximilian followed him, trembling as he went. Morel opened the door and closed it behind his son. Then, crossing the anteroom, went to his desk on which he placed the pistols and pointed his finger to an open ledger. In this ledger was made out an exact balance sheet of his affairs. Morel had to pay within half an hour 287,500 francs. All he possessed was 15,257 francs.
Read.
The young man was overwhelmed as he read. Morel said not a word. What could he say? What need he add to such a desperate proof in figures?
And have you done all that is possible, father, to meet this disastrous result?
I have.
You have no money coming in on which you can rely?
None.
And you have exhausted every resource?
All.
And in half an hour, our name is dishonored.
Blood washes out dishonor.
You are right, father. I understand you.
Then, extending his hand towards one of the pistols, he said,
There is one for you and one for me. Thanks.
Morel caught his hand.
Your mother, your sister, who will support them?
A shudder ran through the young man's frame.
Father, do you reflect that you are bidding me to live?
Yes, I do so bid you. It is your duty. You have a calm, strong mind, Maximilian. Maximilian, you are no ordinary man. I make no requests or commands. I only ask you to examine my position as if it were your own, and judge for yourself.
The young man reflected for a moment. Then with an expression of sublime resignation appeared. Then an expression of sublime resignation appeared in his eyes, and with a slow and sad gesture, he took off his two epaulets, the insignia of his rank.
Be it so, then, my father. Die in peace, my father. I will live.
Morel was about to cast himself on his knees before his son, but Maximilian caught him in his arms, and those two noble hearts were pressed against each other for a moment.
You know it is not my fault.
I know, father. You are the most honorable man I have ever known.
Good, my son, and now there is no more to be said. Go and rejoin your mother and sister.
My father,
Said the young man, bending his knee.
bless me.
Morel took the head of his son between his two hands, drew him forward, and kissing his forehead several times, said,
Oh, yes, yes, I bless you in my own name, and in the name of 3 generations of irreproachable men who say through me, the edifice which misfortune has destroyed, Providence may build up again. On seeing me die such a death, the most inexorable will have pity on you. To you, perhaps, they will accord the time they have refused to me. Do your best to keep our name free from dishonor. Go to work, labor, young man, struggle ardently and courageously. Live yourself, your mother, and your sister with the most rigid economy, so that from day to day the property of those whom I leave in your hands may augment and fructify. Reflect how glorious a day it will be, how grand, how solemn that day of complete restoration, on which you will say in this very office, my father died because he could not do what I have this day done, but he died calmly and peaceably, because in dying he knew what I should do.
My father, why should you not live?
If I live, all would be changed. If I live, trust would be converted into doubt, pity into hostility. If I live, I am only a man who has broken his word, failed in his engagements, in fact, only a bankrupt. If on the contrary I die, remember, Maximilian, my corpse is that of an honest but unfortunate man. Living, my best friends would avoid my house. Dead, my sighs will follow me in tears to my last home. Living, you would feel shame at my name. Dead, you may raise your hand and say, I am the son of him you killed, because for the first time he has been compelled to break his word.
The young man uttered a groan, but appeared resigned.
Now, leave me alone, and endeavor to keep your mother and sister away.
Will you not see my sister once more?
Asked Maximilian. A last but final hope was concealed by the young man in the effect of this interview, and therefore he had suggested it. Morel shook his head.
I saw her this morning and bade her adieu.
Have you no particular commands to leave with me, my father?
Inquired
Yes, my
Maximilian
son.
in a faltering voice. Go ahead.
Yes, my son, and a sacred command.
Say it, my father.
House of Thomson and French is the only one who, from humanity, or it may be selfishness, it is not for me to read men's hearts, has had any pity for me. This ancient, who will in 10 minutes present himself to receive the amount of a bill of 287,500 francs, I will not say granted, but offered me 3 months. Let this house be the first repaid, my son. Respect this man.
Father, I will.
Now, once more, adieu. Believe me, I would be alone. You'll find my will in the secretary in my bedroom.
The young man remained standing and motionless, having but the force of will and not the power of execution.
Hear me, Maximilian. Suppose I were a soldier like you, and ordered to carry a certain redoubt. You knew I must be killed in the assault. Would you not say to me, as you just said now, "Oh, father, for you are dishonored by delay, and death is preferable to shame"?
Yes, yes, yes.
And once again, embracing his father with compulsive pressure, he said,
"Be it so, my father."
and he rushed out of the study. When his son had left him, Morel remained an instant standing with his eyes fixed on the door. Then putting forth his arm, he pulled the bell. After a moment's interval, Cockles appeared. It was no longer the same man. The fearful revelations of the last 3 days had crushed him. This thought, the House of Morrel is about to stop payment, bent him to the earth more than 20 years would otherwise have done.
My worthy Cockles,
Said Morrel in a tone impossible to describe.
you remain in the antechamber, and the gentleman who came 3 months ago, the agent of Thomas and French, arrives. Announce his arrival to me.
Cockles made no reply. He made a sign with his head, went into the anteroom, and seated himself. Morrel fell back in his chair, his eyes fixed on the clock. There were 7 minutes left. That was all. The hand moved on with incredible rapidity. He seemed to see its motion. What passed in the mind of this man at the supreme moment of his agony cannot be told in words. He was still comparatively young. He was surrounded by the loving care of a devoted family. But he had convinced himself by a course of reasoning, illogical perhaps, yet certainly plausible, that he must separate himself from all he held dear in the world, even life itself. To form the slightest idea of his feelings, one must have seen his face with its expression of enforced resignation, and its tear-moistened eyes raised to heaven. The minute hand moved on. The pistols were loaded. He stretched forth his hand, took one up, and murmured his daughter's name. Then he laid it down, seized his pen, and wrote a few words. It seemed to him as if he had not taken a sufficient farewell of his beloved daughter. Then he turned again to the clock, counting time now, not by minutes, but by seconds. He took up the deadly weapon again, his lips parted and his eyes fixed on the clock, and then shuddered at the click of the trigger as he cocked the pistol. At this moment of mortal anguish, the cold sweat came forth upon his brow. A pang stronger than death clutched at his heartstrings. He heard the door of the staircase creak on its hinges. The clock gave its warning to strike 11. The door of his study opened. Morel did not turn around. He expected these words of Cockles.
The agent of Thomason and French.
He placed the muzzle of the pistol between his teeth. Suddenly he heard a cry. It was his daughter's voice. He turned and saw Julie. The pistol fell from his hands.
My father!
Cried the young girl, out of breath and half dead with joy.
Saved! You are saved!
And she threw herself into his arms, holding in her extended hand a red netted silk purse.
Saved, my child? What do you mean?
Yes! Saved! Saved! See! See!
Morel took the purse and started as he did so, for a vague remembrance reminded him that it had once belonged to himself. At one end was the receipted bill for the 287,000 francs, and at the other was a diamond as large as a hazelnut, with these words on a small slip of parchment: Julie's dowry. Morel passed his hand over his brow. It seemed to him a dream. At this moment, the clock struck 11. He felt as each stroke of the hammer fell upon his heart.
Explain, my child. Explain. Where did you find this purse?
In a house in the Allée de Melun, number 15, on the corner of a mantelpiece in a small room on the 5th floor.
But this purse is not yours.
Julie handed to her father the letter she had received in the morning.
Did you go alone?
asked Morel after he had read it.
Emmanuel accompanied me, father. He was to have waited for me at the corner of Rue de Musée, but, strange to say, he was not there when I returned.
Monsieur Morel!
Exclaimed a voice on the stairs.
Monsieur Morel!
It is his voice!
Said Julie. At this moment Emmanuel entered, his countenance full of animation and joy.
The Pharaon! The Pharaon!
The Pharaon? Are you mad, Emmanuel? You know the vessel is lost.
The Pharaon, sir. They signal the Pharaon. The Pharaon is entering harbor.
Morel fell back in his chair. His strength was failing him. His understanding, weakened by such events, refused to comprehend such incredible, unheard of, fabulous facts. But his son came in.
Father, how could you say the Pharaon was lost? The lookout has signaled her, and they say she is now coming into port.
My dear friends, if this be so, it must be a miracle of heaven. Impossible, impossible.
What was real and not less incredible was the purse that he held in his hand. The acceptance receded. Splendid diamond.
Ah, sir, what can it mean, the Pharaon?
Come, dear ones,
Said Morel, rising from his seat.
let us go and see, and heaven have pity on us, and heaven have pity upon us if it be false intelligence.
They all went out, and on the stairs met Madame Morel, who had been afraid to go up into the study. In a moment they were at the Canebière. There was a crowd on the pier, and the crowd gave way before Morel.
Pharaon! The Pharaon!
Said every voice. And, wonderful to see, in front of the Tower of Saint Jean was a ship bearing on her stern these words, printed in white letters: The Pharaon Morel and Son of Marseille. She was the exact duplicate of the other Pharaon, and loaded as that had been with cochineal and indigo. She cast anchor, clewed up sails, and on the deck was Captain Gourmand giving orders, and good old Penelon making signals to Monsieur Morel. To doubt any longer was impossible. There was the evidence of the senses, and 10,000 persons who came to corroborate the testimony. As Morel and his son embraced on the pierhead, in the presence and amid the applause of the whole city witnessing this event, a man with his face half covered by a black beard, and who, concealed behind a sentry box, watched the scene with delight, uttered these words in a low tone.
Be happy, noble heart. Be blessed for all the good thou hast done and wilt do hereafter. And let my gratitude remain in obscurity, like your good deeds.
And with a smile expressive of supreme content, he left his hiding place, and without being observed descended on one of the flights of steps provided for debarkation, and hailing 3 times shouted,
Jacopo! Jacopo! Jacopo!
Then a launch came to shore, took him on board, and conveyed him to a yacht splendidly fitted up, on whose deck he sprung with the activity of a sailor. Thence he once again looked towards Morel, who, weeping with joy, was shaking hands most cordially with all the crowd around him, and thanking with a look the unknown benefactor whom he seemed to be seeking in disguise.
And now, farewell kindness, humanity, and gratitude. Farewell to all the feelings that expand the heart. I have been heaven's substitute to recompense the good. Now the God of vengeance yields to me his power to punish the wicked.
At these words he gave a signal, and, as if only awaiting the signal. The yacht instantly put out to sea. End of chapter.
Villain arc begin.
Man. Yeah.
That was a heavy.
Okay, so I love yes, his villain arc now commenced. Looking forward to Batman. I mean to to all his adventures in mischief making. Good. Gosh, what a dramatic chapter. Like, I was like, Morel's not gonna die. Please tell me he doesn't die. I knew that Morel was gonna be thinking about, unaliving himself. So I was like, no, please no. So like, I'm sorry, I thought like the whole chapter was like just kind of the tension kept building up. Will it happen? Will somebody save him? Will the deliverance come in time? Because we knew that Dantes was going to do something. But like the thing is, will the timing be off? I don't know. What did you guys think?
I'm very, very glad that it wasn't off, because I hate how romanticized that can be sometimes. It's not a subject I like.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
was surprising. Sorry.
Go ahead.
It was surprising how gung-ho and ready to do it the son was to just join him.
Mm.
Like, he was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it now.
Yes. I
Well,
agree.
in those times, it was a method to salvage their honor, because it's much like a captain going down with the ship. It's your financial ship, your company is going down in flames, and your family name is going to be cast into dishonor. And as he said, blood washes that dishonor away.
Mm.
It's not. I think it's a foolhardy notion. I think it's something that is best left in the past, and I'm glad that people don't hold to that today.
Yeah, so I don't know. The author probably wanted to amp up the melodrama, and I mean, but it was a rough read, to tell the truth. Like, it was rough to read it. I did not like it. I guess we're looking at it through the through the lens of a different era, but even I still don't like it. And I don't think that. I don't know if Maximilian's supposed to be likable to us, or if he's gonna show up again. But in the corner of my mind, I'll never forgive him for being like, "Oh yes, a pistol for you and a pistol for me," and then I'm like, dude, they called you here to support the family, not to push your father further along the merry road to,
Well, I don't look at it as him being enthusiastic about this prospect. I think it's more he recognizes his duty as a son of this family, and they're, as I already said, the family's name is going down in dishonor, and this is how they salvage.
Yeah, I think one of the things that they also point out is one of the very first things, he went into like the military, and in the military he was known for being like really particular about following orders. He was called the Stoic, right? So I think that's also part of his characterization. He's going to do the things that are necessary, the difficult things. So I guess it's painting it as he was a man of like honor to the point of death. It's just
and that is.
Go ahead. And
I say that is one of the core elements of Stoicism, is the idea that the worst thing that can happen to you is that you'll die. So anything beyond that, you don't really need to worry about. So,
yeah,
a very interesting philosophy.
Yeah, it's funny because like to them it's like the worst thing that could happen is that I will die, right? But no, because you don't know like what happens when you die. You leave your family behind. And I have issues with people that, you know, like even contemplate going that route, because like, yeah, you're just going to like get rid of whatever, but there's people who are going to suffer. There's people who are going to cry and who might not survive you. You know, I've had friends and people in my family who children or close people went that route, and they never really recovered, because at least in Christian teachings, which is like from like this book goes, like that's like the ultimate sin. You're not going to heaven. Like that is the ultimate sin, or at least it's a huge sin. So
yeah,
no, like
you're taking the choice, or you're taking the power into your hands, and you're taking it away from God. I think that's one of the ways that Christians look at it. Unfortunately, in this chat, you have one person who has thought of these things. It's why it's a hard subject for me.
oh yeah, I'm sorry about that, Patrick. You're beloved, and I don't know what's happened in your past. I'm also thinking of family members that have gone that route, and it's difficult, but just thankful that you're here. Really, we are so thankful. So
Yeah.
Again, it's easy for us, I guess, to just be like armchair philosophers, but when it comes down to it, there's circumstances that are beyond our control, and sometimes when there's no way out, like Morrel felt like in his little world, this was like becoming bankrupt after having been so scrupulous about meeting every single of his obligations. That was like ultimate big, like the world was crashing down. So I mean, ultimately we can't judge, right? Just observations about yeah, about how the author kind of deals with this. I wish he hadn't teased us like that. That was kind of like, if you're gonna build up the tension, can you please find other ways to do it? Because that was not so cool. And
it didn't age well. There we go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to say, I think it was pretty necessary. Morrel was in dire straits, and he saw no way out. And this is the hopelessness that can come and lead people to thinking in such a direction. It's not something that should be encouraged. And you should always look for help, even when you think there's none, because it's never the right choice.
There's always hope.
And why we should always be working to build a world where that kind of thinking isn't necessary. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, on a lighter note, can we talk about
yes,
how
please,
Edmund,
lighter note.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can we talk
please.
about how Edmund really waited until the last fucking second?
Yeah, I was gonna go into that. Like, I was going to go like, what a jerk!
Yeah, 3 months. I accept that replacing the Pharaon probably took the full 3 months, but he could have given that diamond like 2 days after he met with the guy last chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have like
everything after this was not necessary.
Oh my gosh. Teal, I think I heard you somewhere there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's better than Danglars, who could have saved his employer with a word and chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we already knew that Danglars was a POS.
Jinx.
What can I say? I am a piece of shit.
Mark it down. One more crime on the books of karma and fate,
and okay, so
you are going to love it when I get my just reward.
I also like that that we know around how much he's worth at this moment, and it's still not what Dante's has. Like Edmund has more money than even Danglars, so I was like,
multi-millions.
Yeah. By the way, Crusher, I'm so happy to see you. Welcome. And also Akihana. Hey Akihana, hello. Happy to see you guys. Aw, your Wi-Fi is dead. Aw, I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad that you're with us.
Darn, YouTube is having weird playback issues. I think it's because I'm on Windows 10 still.
You guys should all switch to a different operating system. All right. Like everybody in this chat has had some. Actually, not everybody. Heel had also computer problems. Maybe it's a day problem. Like maybe today, like the planets are aligned so that people are having computer issues.
I was wondering if that was just me, because when I tried to tune into the live stream, it wouldn't load on my TV, so that was interesting. But it did finally load up, so we're good.
Yeah, I think
just
YouTube
me that
is having
hasn't
issues.
What was that for?
Is it just me that hasn't? Is it just me that hasn't had any issues today?
I haven't had issues.
I mean, mine's been working fine today, but it did have some issues the other day.
My phone has the screen pulled up, but my tablet is not getting YouTube very well right now.
Oh shoot.
I think YouTube's doing some things.
YouTube might be YouTubing in the background. All right, so we have I have to say though, it was a nice touch. Like despite Edmund being a lover of the melodramatic, or maybe it's Dumas being like that, he went and hired the same exact crew, and we get like little hints because Morrel saw Penelon and the captain talking together. Penelon was very well dressed, as if he had gotten like properly paid. I wonder why. Well, he had just been hired, and of course, Dante's must have paid him very well, so he was now like dressed up like a king in his own little world. Yeah, because he was outfitting
dressed to the nines, as they say.
Yeah, dressed to the nines. Because he was outfitting a new ship called the Pharaon, and who knew the Pharaon better than Dante's? But Dante's, right? So he knew exactly what kind of ship it was. And not only that, got it the same cargo that it had lost at sea. I don't know, that was a cute reversal of fortune, like a way of reversing the tragedy turning into a blessing. And also that red purse. Anybody remember what red purse that is and what it's all about?
It's the one he got from Mr. Drunkard, whose name I'm not remembering.
Caderousse.
Caderousse, yes.
I mean, don't you mean that the Abe got from?
Yeah, the Abe.
Definitely a different character than Sinbad and the Englishman.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They can't be the same.
Oh,
also,
yes.
Also, you also brought up the crew of the Pharaon there. What kind of argument did Edmund make to them? Okay, so I'm gonna make an exact duplicate of the ship that sank, and then I want you to sail it into port the day that all of the debts are due, and I need you to not tell this employer of yours that you love that this is gonna happen. To be as dramatic as possible.
I want to read the next
to them,
chapter.
What argument did he make for this?
I want to read the next chapter because it's titled Sinbad the Sailor, and I'm sure it goes into it. And
I'm thinking, I'm thinking to them, they were thinking, oh, this is a wonderful gift that we can give to this employer that we love.
Yeah, but to not tell him about it?
Yeah.
They might not
It's a
have realized.
surprise.
This guy's facing financial ruin. Don't tell him that all of the good things are about to happen to him.
Aw.
He already said that he was going to die if he didn't get his debts filled. Why wouldn't you tell him?
Well, because again, melodrama. Teal.
I think just the diamond ring on its own or whatever that was in the purse would have at least staved off the... Because as much as you can like plan a sea route, I don't know if you can time it to the exact hour.
Dante's could.
Unless it's sailing just outside the harbor to begin with.
I wonder if
Clearly,
it was...
with enough money, with enough money, anything is possible.
Yeah.
This is what this chapter is demonstrating.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I looked ahead into chapter 31, just read a couple of first lines, but apparently I don't think it's just like gives us a behind the scenes, unfortunately. So we'll just have to live it in our imagination, or at least from the first couple of paragraphs. It doesn't seem like
yeah, out of universe, it makes total sense why this happens. It's purely for the drama.
Time to write fanfics.
In universe, wild choices were made here.
So
such a drama llama.
Yeah, it's a drama, and ultimately all ended happily for a man that, as Dante said, he was the only person that merited good things happening, and he was the emissary. So Edmund was like the emissary of heaven to reward him for all the good that he had done. And just in the same way, now he sees himself as an emissary of heaven to mete out justice to all those terrible people. So I am excited for that, like you guys said, his villain arc. I mean, 14 years in prison, unfairly in prison, is bound to start off some villainous activities at some point, so just saying. No, Teal says, times for some Jacopo Penelon fanfics. Oh no!
Yes!
Yeah,
no!
I read it.
Her earlier comment, I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am Frenchman.
Wait, who is Jacopo?
Jacopo is the sailor who saved Edmund when he was swimming away from the prison.
Mm-hmm. He's from the smugglers, the one that admired him the most, I guess. Yeah.
The totally not pirates.
Yeah.
They're not.
Definitely not
good
pirates.
Guys. No, they're good guys.
They're the lords of the sea.
So yeah, try writing all kinds of fanfics, and Crusher does not like the idea. Teal, maybe because he's more of a Cockles and Penelon fanfic rather than Jacopo.
It's real patrician taste, I'll say.
Yeah.
What a love triangle that would be.
Oh my!
You know, Crusher, I see you in our voice chat. You could be saying these things out loud.
Yes.
Yeah, you could.
Nope, I'm eating.
Alright. Bone apple teeth.
If you want to join the voice chat and also say these things in the voice chat, there's a good way to do it. Please like, subscribe, and support your magpie by hitting the join button.
Yes.
And if you want to post your Jacopo Penelon Cockles fan art in the Ferdinand tribe.
No.
Going for a very messy love triangle here.
Wait, if you're gonna share
did you
it,
say
do
you're
not.
shipping him with him?
I will ship anyone with anyone.
Well, I'm an avid fanfic reader, so who am I to hate? However, do support the magpie. To support your magpie, I'm leaving the link to my channel. Let me see. I wonder if it works if I do it like this. Join. Okay, hit that button. It should take you to the join button. The option to join the Chattering Magpie. At the noble tier or above, you get early access to new videos, members only videos, members only Discord server access, which means that you can join us for all the lives that we do during the week. Just before we went live, I released the newest The Chattering Magpie video there. So, and also for Ko-fi members, you also have it. So go and watch it. It's going to be available for everybody else tomorrow, like in about 24 hours. But because you guys are members, you get to watch it first. And
Yay!
Yeah, because you guys are special. Many thanks to you guys. And I'm planning. And I'm planning on doing some other things in the next couple of weeks to kind of experiment to see how far we can push the envelope when it comes to those videos. So we'll see. Okay, you guys, I think it's time to go. We've been here for a while. We will see you on Thursday. If you want to join us on the other channel, we're talking about anime. We're just getting started with the fall season. It's been pretty interesting so far. So join us
So
for
long,
that.
farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
And if you're not able
Go
to,
drink a Dr.
then-
Pepper.
Yes, drink a Dr. Pepper, and then join us also on Friday at 1 o'clock as usual. Thank you so much to everybody who read today. We had Monsieur Pierre Morrel was read by Fuji, Cockles the Cashew by Ye82, Julie Morrel by Teal, Emmanuel Pat was read by Patrick, Maximilian Morrel was read by Ye82, Madame Morrel by Fuji, Miscellaneous by Teal, Sinbad by Patrick, Highlighter MVP was Teal, and your narrator was your beloved Chattering Magpie. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you
Hooray!
tomorrow. Hey, there you are,
Yay.
Crusher. Glad you joined us. All right, everybody, say goodnight. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios.